Shall we begin? Let's begin.
Welcome to another Create Your New Life. I am your host, CEO Broker Michael G. Davis. Excited to be with you again on this Tuesday. We get together on Tuesdays around 12:30 as our company organizational business meeting. We talk a little bit about business. Then we also go into a topic. So welcome. Want to thank you. If this is your first time checking us out, want to say thank you. Maybe somebody sent you a text, sent you the video of our session, or maybe you're checking it out on our YouTube channel. However you're looking at it, want to say thank you for giving us your attention. Brooks & Davis is always looking to bring on talented individuals. So if there's anything that stands out to you from what I talk about, I'm going to show you a link a little bit later where you can get connected and we can set up a one-on-one. Again, I have some agents on with us today, Kevin, Selena, Shay. At any point, if you guys want to engage, want to ask questions, I got the chat open, or you can unmute yourself. I highly encourage the dialogue. I feel like that is where the magic happens. All right, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump in. We always start off by kind of highlighting some of the ground rules, I guess, or house rules, what some people call them. The first one is definitely want to give people an opportunity if they want to be connected with us, where to find us on our social media platforms. I highly recommend YouTube. I feel like that's what gives you the best, I guess, view of who we are as a company. Also, our Facebook business page, I believe, is an excellent resource to go to if you want to know about us. Between our Facebook business page and our YouTube page, 2 to 3 times a week as far as content, videos, and things like that. So I'm also on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and I have a personal Facebook page as well. I mentioned for you all that are not with Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, and maybe you hear something stands out to you, maybe something about our one-on-one coaching, or maybe one of the programs that we highlight in today's episode, and you want to learn more, then that's a link that you can go to where you can schedule a one-on-one appointment, online or in person, where I can give you, a little bit more information about what we have to offer at Brooks & Davis. All right, and then also for individuals that want to capitalize off of the CE credit. So we have our own providership, and through our providership, the Brooks & Davis Real Estate Continuing Education Institute, we offer CE credit, and the Create Your New Life is one of those classes to where you are able to get an hour of CE credit. Now, here are the ground rules. You have to be logged on when the session begins. Must show identification, so I'll know who you are. Mostly, I know who most of y'all are, but we do that before we press the record button anyway. I have to be able to see your face, so that's the big thing right there. You got to turn your camera on, and I got to be able to see you if you want to be able to get the CE credit, and then you must stay online the entire hour for you to get the hour of CE credit. So just, some simple ground rules, doesn't take much, but that's the way for you to be able to capitalize on the CE credits. All right, looks like we had Chelsea come in. Shout out to Chelsea. Chelsea's coming in today's session as well, so welcome. All right, so today's title, How We Became Social Media Gurus. And like I mentioned a little bit earlier, today we're going to do a rewind of Gary Vee's total social media strategy. So Gary Vaynerchuk, the influencer that we've been studying over these last 8 episodes, and today we're going to go through everything that we talked about, do like the speed version of it, put it all in one session. It's kind of like a recap today. We're also going, it's kind of like the Cliff's Notes, if you guys remember Cliff's Notes. Today's going to be the Cliff's Notes version of it. We're also going to look at why it's important at Brooks & Davis to never stop learning and improving. We're also going to look at Brooks & Davis's way of distributing leads to our agent members. Yes, we do give leads if you didn't know it. We got 2 can't miss events that are coming up that are going to be held at our coaching and training center. So we'll talk a little bit about that today. We're going to look at a beautiful home with a decked out media room that's in Rosharon. So we're going to check out a home as well, do a listing showcase. So every now and again we do our listing showcases. So the quote for today's episode is by Benjamin Franklin. And if you don't know Benjamin Franklin, that means you was asleep in history class. But we all know Benjamin Franklin. One of my favorite books is the autobiography of Benjamin Franklin, where he talks about I guess it was the 12 virtues that he lived by. But the quote that he said is, "Well done is better than well said." I love that, right? Because we've gone through 9 episodes of talking about techniques and strategies of how to enhance your social media, but none of it matters if you don't go out and apply it. So today is about doing it, right? We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna recap it, but you got to make a choice today on when you're gonna start it. Now remember, you're not doing it by yourself, right? I'm your coach. So even through our coaching, if putting together a solid social media plan and executing it, you need assistance with that. We're here to help you as it relates to that. So again, you're not doing it by yourself. It's just a matter of getting it done. So Benjamin Franklin said, "Well done is better than well said." The man that's on a $100 bill said that. All right, so also let's go ahead and jump into our moment in core. Again, if this is your first time being a part of the Create Your New Life, there are some certain things that we do towards the beginning of the session. One of them is our moment in core. What that means is that we spend about 60 seconds just kind of going through, touching upon one aspect of our core ideology, our company's core ideology, right? So our company's core ideology is kind of like our culture. It's who we are as an organization. It's made up of 3 components. The first component is our core goal. The second component is our core mission. And then we have 5 core values. So every Create Your New Life, every business meeting, we look at that and we bring it out because it's what we stand for. So today, the core value that we're going to highlight today is continually learning, improving, and operating in the most productive manner. So as a member of Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, if we're going to have consistent success and if we're going to have sustainability in what we're doing as a company or as a realtor, we'll say that if you're going to have sustained success in what you're doing as a realtor, then it is imperative that you are continually learning, that you're continually getting better, right? You know, one of the things that I always talk about is as it relates to, say, goal setting or going after a goal, it's not necessarily about you achieving it or not. It's about through the pursuit, have you grown? Have you learned, right? Have you identified something to where now you can operate, right, in a more productive manner? So that's where all of this comes from. You know, that's some advice. You know, my son plays Little League Baseball. He plays for a select team. They had a tournament this weekend. And the great thing about the head coach is that he allows the assistant coaches, so I'm one of the assistant coaches, and he allows us to talk to the boys after the game. So, you know, we lost in the semifinals this week, so we didn't make it to the championship. But the message that I told the boys was, look, the reality is whether you win or lose, it's you got to become better than you were the day before, right? You got to, as you put in the work, as you put into practice, as you go out there and compete, when it's all said and done and the smoke clears, what's important is, are you better? Have you gotten one step closer to the greatness that all of you all have on the inside of you through what you've done? So that's the same message that I say here, and the same message that's in our ideology. Every day you should be better, and you should get closer to the greatness that you have on the inside of you and being able to achieve ultimately those results that you want. And that's where this all comes from in our ideology. It's our value of continually learning, improving, and operating in the most productive manner. All right. So now let's go ahead and look at some production, right? Now, you guys know I've been peacock proud over the last month, really the last 2 months, with the level of production that you guys have been killing it. You know, every week we got contracts closing, and every week we got new contracts coming on, right? I love seeing the green, because when we see the green, that means that's a new contract, that's new production that came over the last 7 days. So even if I do my quick math, right now that's about, let's see, that's 7, that's 8, that's 9, 10. So that's about a little over $1 million worth of production that came through in a 7-day period. Right? And right now we're sitting on $8.4 million worth of production in our pipeline. We closed out about $1 million last week, and that's money in people's pockets, right? So $1 million worth of production closed out, that's over $30,000 worth of commissions. So that ain't too bad. Again, congratulations to those that have brought in new production. Shout out to Pat. Congratulations, Pat. He got a $475,000 property under contract. Laquana, my favorite realtor, she brought in about $354,000 contract, brand new bill. So congratulations, Rick Davis, a whole bunch of nines he got up right there. 999 is what he got under contract. And then shout out to Charity. She got $196,900 under a new contract over the last week. So congratulations, guys. I also want to celebrate our top 3. So Kendra Wheaton still holding that #1 spot. And remember, the top 3 is all based on what we currently have right now. Let's see, who's that coming in, disturbing us. Who is that? I think that is.
Sorry, it's me.
Oh, Margaret Ruffin. What's up, Margaret? Margaret's one of our affiliate members. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm trying to put you on mute. Can you mute yourself? Let's see. There we go. All right. And then so congratulations to Kendra Wheaton, Laquana, and Chica Moma for our top 3 producing agents. Again, those are what we measure on a weekly basis, is how much stuff we have under contract, how much stuff we have in pipeline. So want to congratulate those 3 for the great things that they're doing. All right, so what's next? All right, oh, went too fast. So our new listing showcase. So we're gonna look at a new listing. We're gonna put this out to everybody. Want you guys to help us sell it. Let's get it under contract. We had a great listing last week that we showcased that was in the Manville area, and this one right here is actually in the Rosharon area. So only asking $252,000 for this beauty in Rosharon, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 3,100, little over 3,100 square feet on a close to a 9,000 square foot lot. So what does that mean? This bad boy is big. That's what that means. Woo! Excuse me. Again, we're asking $252,000. So everybody likes pictures, so let's check the pictures out. That's the front of it. Great pictures on a sunny day. That's your dining room. That's your living room, right? You see them high ceilings. Kitchen area. Excellent. Lots of space. Matter of fact, I actually sold them this house. This is one of the very first real estate transactions that I did in my career, 16 years ago. And look, it's come back around. We're putting it on the market for sale. They're ready to transition. That's the bathroom. Again, close to a 9,000 square foot lot. So it's a huge piece of land. You see you got a little cement area in the back. Let's see, them all our pictures, kitchen, game room, back. All right, so then it takes us back to the front. So again, this is in Rosharon in Savannah Lakes, if you're familiar with that. 14210 Imperial Woods Lane. $252,000, what we're asking. Kind of gave the, now it does have countertops and a large pantry, humongous pantry, spacious kitchen. Has an extended foyer, so when you come in the front of the house, you'll see that the foyer is extended and the media room is decked out. So, guys, let's go ahead. I mean, again, it's a great price. We're getting a lot of attention on it because of what it is and where it is. So
we can't see your screen. You're sharing your. Hey, Mike, you're not sharing your screen. I mean, we see your desktop.
See my desktop. Okay.
There you go. Now I don't see it, but like the pictures you just showed, I didn't see it.
Yeah. You didn't see those?
Mm-mm.
All right, let's see. Can you see them now?
Now I can.
You can see them? All right, perfect. All right, appreciate that, Kevin. Well, let me show y'all the pictures now. So $252,000. That's the front. Right. So that's the dining room. It's the living room, and then that's that kitchen, that humongous kitchen that we're talking about, with the island, extended island. It's a bedroom. That's a bedroom. Bathroom. And then that humongous lot, so 9,000 square foot lot the house sits on. And again, so this is the property, 14210 Imperial Wood Lane. If you have a client, it's, what, $252,000, so that's a steal for a 3,100 square foot house on this humongous of a lot. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. That's out there looking to be kind of away from the city, but not too far away from the city. Right, because, you know, you hit 288, it's right off of 288, it gets you right into Houston, or it gets you into Pearland. So whichever direction that you go is right there for you. Let's see. The year built, like I said, this was one of the first properties I ever sold. So the year built was 2005, according to the district. And look, it's ready for y'all to sell. So let's get this bad boy sold. 14210 Imperial Wood Lane. All right, so now, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our proprietary programming. So that's something else that we do every week, is that we highlight the many programs that we offer at Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm. Because we know that sometimes you guys forget to constantly remind you of the things that you have access to by being a member of Brooks & Davis, so you don't feel like you are missing out, right? We want you to take advantage of the stuff that we put in place. So what we're showcasing today is the digital lead generation system. So if you have not gotten signed up for our digital lead generation system, I highly encourage you to go ahead and get that done. Yes, we do give leads. For you all that are currently doing coaching, y'all understand now that one of the things that I encourage is touches. You know, I ask you how many touches over the next week are you going to do? And remember, touches is all about activity. So that's engaging somebody, whether text message, phone call, email, social media, whatever, on the street, in the street. You're engaging someone one-on-one, and you're pretty much asking for business, right? You're asking them, who do you know looking to buy a house, sell a house, or invest in real estate, or who's looking to rent a house or an apartment. Like, you're asking for business. So that's something that we highlight. Well, guess what? This is a great resource that you can use to get your touches. Because remember, we don't measure ourselves by response, because we can't control. We can't control how somebody responds to us touching. So when you make phone calls to these people, you can't control if they answer the phone. You can't control if they don't hang up in your face. You can't control if they sit there and listen long enough to what you have to say. You can't control any of that. But what you can control is how many people you call. So that's how you measure yourself, right? So did you call 10 people? Did you call 100 people? Did you call 200 people? Right? That's how you grade yourself. How much activity did you do? So this digital lead generation system is a great opportunity for it. Typically, when you come in and you go through orientation, just shows you how to access it, gets you set up, If you have problems getting set up or getting into it, you can always call into the office and she can update you. I'm gonna click on here just so this will actually take you to the software, so guys can just kind of get a glimpse of what it looks like. I'm gonna go into it. So as you can see, here's a little write-up as it relates to how it works, and then there's some frequently asked questions. So, every day we're adding new people, and most of these are internet leads, and they do have referral fees associated with them. So these are not grade A prime beef leads. They are not that, right? Why? Because number one, they're internet leads, and most of the time when people are ready to buy a house, the first thing they do is go to the internet, they go online. So a lot of these people may be 12 months out, right? That's one reason. So, but again, they still work. It's still a business opportunity. You plug them into your sales process, into your follow protocol, and what you've done is you've set up future income, right? So we're all about that as well. So that's one. The second thing is, because there is this referral fee associated with it, you're not going to get all of your commission, right? So you're going to have to split some of your commission, right? So that's why they're not grade A leads. But here's the great thing about these leads. They're great for preparing you how to convert. Because just because you have a lead doesn't mean really nothing. Having a lead is just one step in the right direction, right? So these leads can help you get better at moving to the next step, which is conversion. Getting people to hire you and do business with you. So that's what these leads are for, right? To help with your conversion, with your pre-qualifying skills, with your levels of persuasion and influence, and just understanding how the process flows when going from a business lead to them becoming a client. So that's great for that, because the reality is that you don't want to be practicing on your grade A leads. Right? You don't want to put yourself in a position when you got a great lead, somebody that knows you, a warm lead. They're looking for a house. They have that trust in you already. Well, you don't want to be practicing on those people and not understanding how to truly convert them into clients to protect your interests and protect them. So that's what these leads are great for. So you can notice there's a number of leads that haven't even been called yet. So our agents aren't taking advantage of it. So that's why I want to highlight it. And then these are agents, because we don't leave voicemails. It's all about touches. So forget the voicemail, because people they don't call you back no way. It's about getting them on the phone. So you want to just call. And then here are the leads that have been assigned, that agents have already here are leads that agents have already been assigned, to certain agents that they're already working. What I can tell you is that right now I'm working with one of our agents, and she's working this digital lead generation system. And right now she has a client they're looking for a $400,000 to $500,000 house in Sugar Land, and she just showed me their proof of funds. They're paying cash. They got $800,000 cash that they're using to buy this house. Again, they're relocating from New York. She got it from working this lead generation system. So take advantage of it, is what I'm saying. It's legit. We also have investor leads, and then for our Spanish speakers, we have Spanish leads, right? So, and the investor leads are great, right? Because if you got an investment property, something that needs repairs or something like that, we already have a pre-made list for you that you can go through to put that property in front of some people that are bona fide investors looking for something. So we already have built out the list for you. So our digital lead generation system is pretty built out. It's pretty robust. If you guys, again, if y'all have any questions about it, let me know. If y'all have any questions about getting connected to it, let me know. And again, it's a great place to go to get your touches in. The goal that you set once a week. All right, perfect. All right, so got that done. Let's see what's next. All right, we got a couple of great events coming, happening that are upcoming. One of them is we're doing another license to carry concealed handgun course at the Coaching and Training Center. It's going to be this Saturday, August 29th. The time is at 9 a.m. This is something that we do periodically. The cost is $150, and it covers your range fees, your ammo, and your weapon is included. If you are interested, there's an email on here that you can engage, and it's a $20 non-refundable deposit to reserve your spot. Right now, this is for this Saturday, but depending on how many people register, if it goes over, then he will do a carryover course on Sunday. So it just depends on how much interest comes in. So that is something that is going on. So for you all that are interested in getting your concealed handgun license and getting registered with the state of Texas, here's an opportunity right here at our Coaching and Training Center to where you can get that done. All right. And Action Jackson Gun Training, the owner of it, Jermaine Jackson, is a great friend of mine. I was in his wedding, and he knows his stuff. He's a peace officer right now. He's with the Alvin School District. Great guy, great guy. You'll enjoy the course. He'll keep you laughing. And again, it's going to be this weekend in our Coaching and Training Center. Let me see, somebody hit us. Let's see. She says it both parts. Yes, Margaret, it is both parts. So you do, it's the coursework, and then you'll leave and go to the range, and then you'll do the shooting, actually shooting that's why the ammo and the weapon is included. So once you're done, all you gotta do is submit your paperwork to the state, and then you'll have your license. All right, and also if you know somebody that's wanting to do it, you can spread the word as well to let them know that this is something that we're doing this weekend to where you can get that. All right, but great question, Margaret. Thank you for asking that. All right, now, this right here is another thing that we have come in. It's going to be September 2nd, and I want to say September 2nd. Let me verify. September 2nd is a Thursday. Let's see. September 2nd is a Wednesday. So September 2nd is a Wednesday, 1 to 3 p.m. There's this program that we got connected to that offers owner finance, right? So now what that means is once you get certified through their program, whatever listing that you have, you'll be able to offer it for owner financing, right? And what that's going to do is that's going to open up a wider range of client base for your listings. Also, that now allows you to bring something to the table to sellers that other agents, may not be certified to do. It does that, and then also what it does is that now by you being certified to offer owner financing, no matter the circumstances, you can now position yourself to capture and attract buyers, attract those buyers that have cash, but the credit's not necessarily there. And then now you'll be able to get those buyers, they'll be able to buy whatever home that they want to buy. So this owner financing program allows buyers to buy any property for sale, period. And it opens it up 100%. So with this certification, and it doesn't cost anything to attend the class, with this certification, you will have the ability now to be more competitive in the marketplace and be able to do more deals, right? So it's going to be at our Coaching and Training Center. It's going to be, I guess that's next Wednesday from 1 to 3 at our Coaching and Training Center. Come get certified. Seating is limited. I am going to other agents that are outside of Brooks and Davis. What's going on, Roniel? Better late than never.
Hey.
But,
hello.
Ronielle's one of our newest agents as well. She's coming down from Kentucky, so we want to welcome her. But we're talking about this owner financing certification class that we're having next Wednesday, and the benefits and the value for it. So if you're interested, for right now, call into the office. We're going to update this flyer before we officially send it out. So we'll have our registration link on it for people to register, because obviously our coaching and training center only holds a certain amount of people. So seating is going to be limited, but I think this thing is going to be big right here. All right, and also, Ronielle, you just missed it, but we are having another concealed handgun class weekend, if you're interested.
Yeah, I got to work this weekend. Yeah.
Okay, but we doing periodically, and then Margaret, yeah. So I know you did the written part. You need the shooting part, and they do the shooting part. Maybe if you reach out to him and you just let him know what you need, he can give you a discounted price. You don't need the whole thing.
Okay.
All right. So with that being said, no other questions. Let's go ahead and jump into the training for today before we wrap it up. Let's see. All right. So we have been, for the last 9 episodes, we have been looking at this social media deck that Gary Vaynerchuk created, right? So today is the final episode, so it's going to be kind of like a recap. Now we're already working on. Let me show you guys this. We're already working on a playlist on our YouTube channel that has all of the episodes for this series. So we started it with episode 137. That was the very first episode. That's where we talked about, did the introduction, and we validated Gary Vaynerchuk, who he is, because I'm a believer of, before I take any advice from anybody, you need to be a credible source. So I assume everybody thinks the same way. So that is what that episode was about, and then we looked at Twitter and Instagram and some other things. So all 10 episodes are going to be in this playlist. So it's a 10-part series, learn how to enhance your social media using Gary V's Blueprint for Success. So you can go back and look at every single episode, and I encourage you to go back and look at every single episode and use the information to build your social media strategy. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. There's no need to guess. Gary V's laid it out. This is what he used to grow to multiple millions of followers on multiple platforms. This is his strategy. So you don't need to guess about it. So the playlist is already there. We just got to add the description and do some other things. But we're in the process of getting that going. So it should be officially public before the end of the week, and you'll be able to go there to see everything, to make it easy and easy to get to, make it convenient for you. All right. So today's also what I want to do is do a refresher on showing you all how to get to the show notes. Okay. So now with the 7-dot training. And again, if you're not familiar with the 7-dot training, I know it's something that Jessica went over with you in orientation. It's just another resource that you all have access to. Even the affiliates have access to the 7-dot training. So when you go to it, it's a digital online, it's a shared folder, a digital folder that has a host of resources in it. So you see all of these resources are in the 7-dot training folder. Okay, so now when you go to it and it's in Google Drive, the easiest way to get to the show notes of any episode is to, in the search bar, type in EP and then whatever the episode number is that you want. And then that'll take you to the show notes, right? So for instance, when this is episode 146. So right here, you have the presentation slides, you have the show notes, and you can actually see the notes that I'm reading from, because I don't always say everything on the notes, right? So like if I open this up, if we click on that, then these are the actual notes for today's episode. So that's the easiest way to get access, and I have notes for every single episode of Create Your New Life. So if you want to do a recap, you want to follow along, this is where you can go, or this is how you get the show notes for our episodes, right? So like today we're going to do the recap, and you can already see the notes. In addition to the notes, if you want to see the slides, again, just put in EP 146, and then what it's going to do is going to give you the file that I'm using as we go through the slides that I've shown you, right? So that's how you get access. So I wanted to show you all that, especially since we are, kind of wrapping things up with this series today. And then, let's see. Yeah, and we already talked about the YouTube playlist. All right, so let's jump into it. So Gary V, we're on. It's a 270 decks slideshow is what Gary designed, right? And we've gone through, and he gave us 19 items. There were 19 items that he personally endorsed and utilized to build his strategy. And over this 270 deck, he highlights and he pinpoints each one of those items, and he gives commentary to it. So in those other 9 episodes, we went into detail on each one of those 19 items, right? So this part of the deck is where he wraps it up, because the general theme of the deck was showing you how to create 64 pieces of content. So he did a running tally, 64 pieces. Now he talks about doing 64 pieces of content a day. Now, look, hey, if you got time to do it, right? But I think he might have just came up with that title to grab people's attention. But what he did show in the deck was he did show how to come up with 64 pieces of content over the platforms that mattered. All right, so here is how he wraps it up. So now this slide, he says, now you see how simple it is, 60 plus pieces of content. He says you can do it in different ways. So this is kind of like his recap of what he just went over in the 250 so slides prior to this. So for what he showed us, the 64 includes 15 tweets, 10 LinkedIn text posts, and then he says he repurposed these from the tweets. So he repurposed the 10 LinkedIn text posts from the tweets. So this is just an example, right? He did 7 Instagram posts, which were image versions of his tweets, 15 Instagram stories by screenshotting his Twitter/Instagram interaction. So what he means is that if somebody is engaging, somebody does a comment on your post on Twitter, or somebody, there's some kind of conversation chain that begins on Twitter, he talks about screenshotting it and then adding that to your Instagram stories. So 15 of those, 15 Facebook stories. And right here, he's just saying automatically cross-posting from your Instagram, because Instagram allows you to automatically send it to your Facebook stories. So now just those 15 screenshots have now automatically become 30 posts because you put them on 2 different platforms. One TikTok video, one Instagram video, which was repurposed from your TikTok video, right? So then now that's 64 pieces of content. So that's one example of how you can do it. Here's another example. So now he says if you're more artistic with more design skills, this is his recommendation of how to put those 64 pieces, or how to maneuver those 64 pieces. So 5 cartoons, which was an element that we looked at and that we discussed in episode, this was episode 1, this is 37, 38, 39, 140, talked about cartoons, drawings, and video slideshows. But you could take 5 cartoons, 5 memes, we know what a meme is, get a little funny picture, put some text on it, send it out, 4 pictures, 10 tweets, 10 quote graphics. So what that is taking the tweets, taking the quotes from your tweets, and then making them an elaborate graphic, and then posting that out. So those are quote graphics. 7 text posts, again, from your tweets. You can take some of the verbiage from your tweets and put some, make those elaborate. 10 Instagram stories by screenshotting tweets, memes, and cartoons. So you can screenshot your stuff, put it in stories, and again, it's automatically going to hit Facebook stories. So that's 10 Facebook stories, and 3 video slideshows, which are compiled of quote graphics. Again, that's another 65 pieces of content. So the whole point of what Gary Vee is trying to show is that it's not as difficult to come up with that amount of content. A lot of what people, the excuses that people use on why they don't maximize on social media is that they feel like they don't have the time. And it's not really about time, it's about technique, understanding how to generate content. At the end of the day, it's about content. It's about consistently putting content out there. Because the reality is that you don't know what's going to hit, and you don't know when it's going to hit. So for you, it's just about generating enough content consistently to where you can stay in front of people, in front of your audience on social media. All right, here's another example of how you could put 64 pieces of content together. So he talked about doing a blog post, taking one. Now, and notice on his strategies, it all starts with a central piece of content, and then he repurposes it multiple times. So a lot of the 64 pieces, I would say, you know, 30 to 50% of the 64 pieces is taking a single piece of content and just using it again, repurposing it, right? So it's not like you're talking about 64 unique pieces or uniquely created pieces of content. So 1 blog post, then 1 LinkedIn article. All he did was take that from the blog post, put that in LinkedIn as an article. 15 tweets. These are just quotes from the blog post. You break them up into chunks, and then boom, you hit them out on Twitter. 14 text posts. Again, these are just quotes from the blog. Then you take them, and then you just put some graphics, graphically put the text out there, and then now you can post them on different things like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. 2 Instagram posts, and then these are just Notes app screenshots. You type something or you write something in your Notes app in your phone. You know, that was something that we talked about in episode 139, Notes app, smartphone cameras, and live streaming. And then 1 commentary. So that's just you talking about something that you read and you just offering some commentary on it. 5 Instagram stories, and these are just sharing your IG posts and tweets on Instagram. And then, again, they automatically cross-post to Facebook, and then there you go. There go your 64 pieces if you like to write, right? So he's even covering it from different ways, right? So you can do it different ways. If you're artistic with design skills, you can focus it on that. If you like to write, so if you're a writer, you can do it that way. So what he's saying is that don't try to put a square peg in a round hole. Figure out what you like, what speaks to you, what you're comfortable doing, and then frame your strategy around that, right? Don't just look at what somebody else is doing and seeing what their talent is and then trying to duplicate it if that's not your thing. So the great thing about this deck and what makes it so powerful is that he's showing multiple options to fit within multiple profiles of what people are good or not good at doing. All right, so then he talks about if you're good in audio, right? So you may not be good in writing, you may not be good in design, but you're good with audio stuff. All right, so here we go. 1 podcast, do that, and then that goes to 3 different places. So you can post that podcast on Apple, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. You can do 1 live stream. That posts on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can do one blog post that's transcribed from your podcast. So you do the podcast, and then there's softwares out there that'll transcribe it. Then you can take that, and then you can have that be a blog that you do on a consistent basis. Do 3 polls, one on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to gather insights as it relates to your blog and your podcast. 15 tweets taken from the transcribed version of your podcast. 15 Instagram stories, 15 Facebook stories, 4 quote graphics from your tweets that are taken from your blog posts, from your podcast, 2 TikTok posts, and 3 pictures from your podcast live stream, right? So again, all he's doing is he's taking a central piece of content. So in this example, it's the podcast, taking that central piece of content, and then he's just repurposing it on multiple platforms, using creative ways to continue to command people's attention. So that's the one if you're good in audio. If you like editing videos, so if you got all the time in the world, you like sitting in front of a computer and you like editing stuff, I don't like doing that stuff. So this one won't be for me. But there are we have some agents that are real good at editing. They have editing software that like doing that stuff. So if that's you, then you do a live stream. And, so that's on Facebook, do YouTube Live, Facebook Live, or Instagram Live, because you can live stream on all of those. So do a live stream. Then you transcribe your live stream to create a blog post. Then from that blog post, you take it and put it in LinkedIn as an article. Then from your live stream, you create 2 micro videos from your live stream that you can post out. Then you got 15 Instagram stories. Again, you can use the screenshotting piece, or you can put the micro videos. You can do all of that to create your Instagram stories. Now he's bringing in Snapchat, right? 15 Snapchat stories taken from your Instagram stories, 15 Facebook stories taken from your Instagram stories. So the 15 Instagram stories are turned into 45 posts because you can use the same thing on Snapchat and Facebook. 4 quote graphics. These are taken from your tweets. 6 pictures from your live stream. So now you're doing a live stream, boom, you take a picture of you doing a live stream, and 2 TikTok posts. Again, that's 64 pieces of content. And that's if you like editing. So, and it doesn't just have to end with those 4 profiles, right? I mean, there's so many other ways to make content and distribute it. And now with this 270-page deck, you got access. You got what it looks like. So here, this kind of echoes what I said earlier. He says, but Gary, shouldn't I focus on making quality content instead of more quantity? Shouldn't it be about quality? So even though Gary believes creative quality is a variable of success, it's the quantity of execution that gives the opportunity to figure out what quality really is. So what he's saying is that as you post and as you send things out to your audience, you got to be measuring it. You got to be looking to see. It's a constant experiment. Like social media is a constant experiment. So you got to keep an eye on to see what works, what doesn't work. And when you identify something that works, you enhance it. You figure out a way to enhance it. And when something's not working, after a certain amount of time, you got to let that thing ride. So that's what he's saying here is that, but you'll never get to that point if you're not putting out enough content to your audience for people to be able to see it. All right. So then he just gives some marching orders, which is to now stop debating it and go make some content. And then he gives us an index. So now, what we're going to add in the description of the playlist that I showed. So this playlist right here, in the description, we're going to put a link to the deck. So you'll be able to have access to it. So not only will you have the videos, you'll have the actual deck, all of the resources that Gary Vee provided. So here's the content creation tools. There's some content creation tools that he spoke about. And he gives us the page that he talked about these tools. Also, if you want to learn more tactics, this is where you can follow him on his different social media, his podcast, and things of the sort. So that was the 270-page deck that we went through over the last 8 episodes, 9, well, this will be 10 episodes of Create Your New Life. So now, I know you all haven't, some of them you haven't seen, some of them you have seen, but are there any specific questions y'all may have about social media that y'all want to kind of throw at me and see if Gary addressed it as it relates to you all building your social media, or the success, any success that you all have gotten from your social media? Who wants to go first? Unmute yourself or hit me on the chat. Are y'all doing social media? Kinda? All right. So, Raniel, walk me through what you're doing on social media.
I'm socializing, so I have to build my social media platform for as far as real estate go. I'll be starting from ground zero.
Ground zero. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said don't use military words. I'll be starting from the beginning.
Start from the beginning.
I'll get used to not using jargon. Okay.
So the great thing for you is you know, you have these videos, you have this document that you can go look at, because I know you're on Facebook. Are there any other platforms that you're on?
Let's see. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and then I can reactivate my Twitter, but I don't want to do it under my regular name of my government. I guess under my real estate name. I should create new accounts.
What's your reason? What's your reason for not wanting to do it under your regular name?
I don't need nobody well, I don't know. People just act silly.
What does that mean, Raniel?
Well, I'm like, I don't know why you put me on the spot, but, you know, okay, so I can do my real estate name under my government, but that's fine.
Well, I'm just curious. Your rationale around. Because you're not the only person. Like, a lot of people feel like they got to separate, right? They separate the business.
Because I be starting arguments on Facebook, and I didn't want nobody to associate that with my business. well, maybe somebody needs to stop starting arguments on Facebook. How about that? I try to put fires out, but it just happened. Like, I be telling the truth, so people get mad. So I don't want them to associate my business with my political views or my Christian views, because a lot of people will lump all that stuff together.
That's true. But the reality is you are who you are, right? You want to be authentic. You want to be your authentic
for military purpose, I'm a chameleon.
Well, look,
for
real estate purposes, you got to be a chameleon too.
Okay.
So, but the reality is this. So here's my take on separating business from personal, and then you guys let me know if you agree or disagree or whatever. There are typically 4 reasons that somebody uses you or does business with you. Number 1, they like you. Number 1, they trust you. Number 2, they trust you. Number 3, they know you. Number 4, they see that you're competent, right? So know, like, trust, and they see that you know what you're doing. Okay. So now, here's the reality. There are people out there that have social media stuff and it's only business, right? It's just real estate stuff, right? They give you a bunch of articles, they give you a bunch of, checklists or, top 10 lists for this or property tours, this. All they just show is the business, right? So now, if you're trying to get somebody to do business with you, if you're trying to get somebody to work with you and hire you for your relationship, well, of those 4 things that I named, which ones does it address? If it's just solely business, Remember, so it's know, like, trust, and see that you're competent. Which one does that really just a strictly business persona give to people? And you know, and the reality is the only one that the only checkbox it really checks is competence. They can see that, all right, you know your business, you know real estate, but that doesn't really give them, they don't give them the warm and fuzzies to want to do business with you, right? They don't give them the warm and fuzzies to where they like you, because the way that, here's the secret, the way that people like you is they got to see themselves in you, right? Because the reality is people like themselves. So the better that they can see themselves in you, the better chances you have that they'll like you. Well, what does that really look like practically? That looks like having things in common with people, right? So for me, baseball, Little League Baseball, that's what me and my son, my daughter, that's what we're into, right? So if I don't have anything that I'm presenting on social media that gives my audience a glimpse of the fact that I'm into Little League Baseball, how many people are out there that would probably be the thing that would have them do business with me? Yeah, as long as they see that I am confident, I know what I'm doing in real estate, but the fact that we have something in connection, in contact, that deals with that. Oh, you know what? It's something about that guy. I like that guy. I like that guy. And guess what? Now I know something about this guy. I feel more comfortable with him because this is what he does with his kid and with baseball. So now those warm and fuzzies start coming in, and now they may not have a need now, but when a need does arise, they're able to make that connection because they're seeing more than just the real estate stuff. So for me, I am a believer that it all needs to be, it all needs to be together, because there are these connections that people need to see, and then that's going to better increase your chances of them doing business with you when they need to do business with you, right?
Hey, Michael.
So, go ahead, Kevin.
I mean, you know, for me, I have multiple businesses, so each business is different. So my personal, there's certain things that particular quote unquote friend or whatever, I may not be gearing that particular business for. So for example, like my LinkedIn is all business. It's just because I have, you know, I've been in sales for so long, so I've accumulated all of these relationships with owners of, you know, professional teams, corporations, and so I stick to that. You know, I don't want them to kind of see me going out to dinner with my significant other. I'm like, hey, that's you know, that's for my family and my quote unquote friends, you know, when it comes to business. So like I said, I mean, I have a business in, you know, in one industry, and then I have the real estate, and so that's why I kind of keep them all separate. But yes, I mean, you can filter, or you can attach, you know, certain things like, hey, I think this is beneficial for my friends. Like, hey, this is house I know on, you know, Facebook and things of that sort. Because Facebook is the only one I really have, quote unquote, just my friends and family. But my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter, and my LinkedIn, that's more, you know, mostly business. So okay. I agree with you connecting all of them. But I think you got to understand who is that customer that you're actually going. Like if you're posting something about real estate, and I have an insurance business over here, my insurance customers are looking at me like, or, you know, my affiliates with that business are looking at me like, what is he posting about insurance? I don't, you know, so it can go either or. But I understand where you're coming from.
But keep this in mind, though, Kevin. Your insurance customer base they may not have a real estate need, but do you think it makes sense that they should know that you do real estate just in case they has a real estate need that they might refer you to?
No, I understand where you. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, hey, if you have, it's like for me, like my Facebook is strictly, you know, primarily friends and family. Like I go through and I scrub it. Like I keep that page. It's private. You ain't jumping on there because I don't need all that other stuff that's jumping on my page. So I keep that private. So you got to be my friend to actually have access to it. So if I have you as my friend, yes, I can post stuff on certain things, but I don't want to have Joe Blow over here like for LinkedIn. You send me a friend request, I'm going to accept it. You know, I don't even look at who you are. I'm just wanting on here, you know, but for my Facebook that I have my family on here, I got a daughter. I'm one of those. I mean, hey, I was a criminal justice major, so I'm like, hey, I'm very protective over you ain't getting access to certain. I mean, you got to. I'm just that way. So that's why I kind of keep the things. And so, like, if I have I'll create a Facebook, under my umbrella, like, hey, this is where I just want to post all my business and stuff like that. But if I'm posting my daughter, like, hey, this, she's celebrating her thing. No, I don't want just anybody having access to it. So that's why I keep it private.
Absolutely. And let me offer some context. In what I'm saying. And I agree with you. Like, I'm real protective as far as my kids. So even on, like, as it relates to social media, for the longest, I wouldn't even post my children on social media. And if I did post them on there, it would be in like a group of kids. Like, it wouldn't just be them by themselves. Or like if they're in an event or something, I may post a video of them dancing, like it's far away. But when I'm making the statement of separating business and personal as it relates to social media, I'm saying as a whole, right? Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is that your social media strategy, you shouldn't have one strategy for business and one strategy for personal. Saying, even if like what you Facebook for your personal part of things, but there may be some instances where there is somebody that can kind of straddle the fence and be LinkedIn and Facebook, depending on who that individual is, versus saying, well, no, it's just business, and those people never evolve from one side to the next. Just like your family members may evolve to the business side of things, so having that, the ability for that to exist as it relates to the entirety of your social media strategy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I hear what you're saying, but my experience, like the first time I did business with family. Prime example, I'm gonna give you an example. Right before I met you guys, I had a girlfriend who, very close, she wanted to buy a house here in Houston. I said, okay. So I introduced her to someone else. She wanted me to line up several realtors, and she wanted to pick which realtor that she wanted to. I said, it don't work that way. She didn't want to sign the IBS form, okay? And so it got to a point where it was almost embarrassing, where we ain't friends no more. You know what I'm saying? So when they crossed over to the business, she went on, somebody else, she bought a house with a pool with somebody else, and she found those realtors that was going to worship her. The ones that, only sell one house a year. That's not me, okay? Yeah. So if I allow someone to come from the business side to my personal side, that's my choice, but I need to keep that business and personal separate.
Okay.
And Michael, I understand, like me, my favorite platform for social media is probably Instagram. So luckily, Instagram feeds into, if I wanted, like, hey, I'm posting something and I wanted to feed into my personal life, then okay, hey, I can feed it, and it's just attacking all platforms at the same time. I'm not going to post something on Facebook and stream it up over to my my LinkedIn. It's most likely most people, don't post things on their face. If you post on your Facebook, you're not sending it over to your LinkedIn page. Most people, 99% of the people. So that's what I'm saying. You have that separation. So yeah, you'll post something from your LinkedIn and send it over to your Facebook. But for some reason, people treat Facebook like it's their personal, and if you can't post it on Facebook and send it over to LinkedIn, then no, you cannot cross those worlds. You got to keep it separate. If that makes sense.
No, absolutely. I agree with you, because one of the things that Gary talks about, and I think we talked about this in episode 138, is contextuality, like understanding the different audiences. Like, it's a different audience on LinkedIn, is just in general, period. It's a different audience on LinkedIn than it is on Facebook. I think somebody said Facebook is like the backyard barbecue. and LinkedIn is like working event, right? So, understanding that contextually, yes, the messaging is important, the context is important on it. But I think the biggest takeaway from what we've done over these last 10 sessions is having a strategy. A lot of us are just haphazard with it. We haven't sat down and we haven't put on paper any kind of strategy on how we're going to approach, number one, creating content or the kind of content that we're going to create, and number two, how we're going to execute that content on a consistent basis to generate particular results that we want from social media. Like, we don't have like a actual strategy. So what I really want us to take away from this is that however we choose to do it, let's sit down and let's put some thought through it and have a full-fledged strategy that we're going to execute on a consistent basis, because that's the best. The reality is that there is business on social media. You are able to get business utilizing social media, but it's got to be done a certain way to get the results that we want to get. So that's the biggest takeaway for us. But man, I sure appreciate y'all sharing. Matter of fact, most of these jokers, I get them on here, they don't want to talk to me, but I see who here with me. I need Kevin, I need Ronye. I know y'all gonna talk to me and dialogue with me.
So it's okay to go ahead and do our separate accounts, right, for Facebook, for our business.
If that's what you want to do, yeah, that's what you want to do.
It's just a little more work. It's just a little more work that I got to do. But hey, if I got to do it, hey, I got to do it.
Absolutely. We all have our own philosophies. We all have our own takes on this thing. Like I said earlier, it's an experiment. Like, at the end of the day, we're trying stuff and we're seeing what works, what don't work, what sticks, what don't stick. So that's why quantity is important. The amount of content that you put out on a consistent basis is important, and you just got to make sure that you're keeping an eye on it to see if it's working. You're assessing it, and then as you're assessing it, some stuff you can enhance, and some stuff you can get rid of and do more of something else. So it's just about being intentional about it versus haphazard, which is how most people approach social media. It's just, I'm just going to arbitrarily put something out there. There's no rhyme or reason around what they're doing. And this is whether professional or personally. So that's what this is about. All right. So look, I'm pretty much done, man. Ideally these things are to run, about an hour. But I'm here. If you guys have any additional questions, any other coaching that y'all want to deal with, we can deal with that as well. Anything else? Any other questions, coaching?
I don't have anything about the session, but I had some updates.
You got some updates? All right, so you want to do it here or you want to do it one-on-one?
Oh, it didn't matter.
Okay. Well, let me do this. Let me officially close the show out, and then you just stay on, and then me and you can address. And anybody else can stay on as well. That work?
It's good. Thank you, Michael.
Perfect.
Appreciate it.
Oh man, my pleasure, man. So let me get my music going. Alright. No, we are done. We got another one in the books. Create Your New Life. I think we had a great session. We closed up our series with the Gary Vee series. Remember, we have our playlist on YouTube that you can check out, that you can see. So definitely take advantage of that. Go to that. Real quick, before we shut it down, just a quick reminder of something that you can do as it relates to social media. Remember, you get 1 hour feed credit as you participate in our Create Your New Life. You get that 1 hour feed credit, so take advantage of that. If there's something that stood out to you, go ahead and click that link, schedule that one-on-one. If you feel like you need that kind of one-on-one attention, the broker that you're with is not working for you, let me talk to you a little bit more about what we have to offer. And hey, follow us on social media. That's what this whole conversation's been about. Go engage with us, check us out. 2 or 3 times we post information. And look, we really enjoy what we're doing. With that being said, I'm Your host, Michael G. Davis, Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. Coach, looking to coach into the cosmos. It's time to take off. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.